10, 9, 8. Is it going? Yeah? Good. Want to make a start? Okay, right. Well, there's only a few of you here. Thank you for coming along. If anybody was here for my talk on Monday, it's going to be very similar, but there are going to be a few kind of little extra insights due to speaking to students after Monday and getting some really good feedback about what they want to know about these programs that I'm going to be talking to you about today. So hopefully there'll be something new in there for you if we're here on Monday as well. So just to introduce myself, I'm Nat Freeman. I'm the Uea Award officer and I work in Career Central. We are based in the library, so if you do go into the library, look at the front desk as you look to your right. We've got nice bright yellow branding, so you can't really miss it. Go and chat to my colleagues who ask about, the kind of things that we can offer. I'm not going to talk to you about everything that Career Central can offer you today, because you're going to be bombarded with enough information, I should imagine, by the end of this week. I'm here to talk to you about two programs that we run. One is the Discover programme, and one is the Uea Award. And there are lots of parallels between them, but there are also some differences, and you might want to kind of use them in different ways. Could I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay. So first of all, the purpose of both of these programs is for you guys to be able to get some recognition and acknowledgement of everything that you're already doing, activities-wise, and also a lot of the activities that you've done in the last 2 or 3 years. So one of the things that I've found since I've kind of managed this award and this program is that students often come to us and say, I have done, a fair bit. I've had part-time jobs and I've got hobbies, but they're not really worth talking about. And you guys tend to discount all of these things that you do. All of these activities have actually helped you to develop a huge number of skills, or attributes as we call them, that are incredibly impressive and valuable to employers when you're looking for part-time work and your future careers, academic work, all of those different areas of your life. So everything that you're doing in your day-to-day, you're gaining these skills and attributes, and probably not even thinking about it. So the purpose of the Discover programme and the Uea Award is for you to take stock, to think about all of the things that you've already done and that you're doing. So a lot of the opportunities that you might be taking up that are new, now you've started at UEA, there might have been things that you've done in the past couple of years, as I say, part-time jobs, different hobbies, things like that you've just done for fun or to earn some money, but actually there are an awful lot of skills that you've accrued through taking part in those activities that are really worth talking about. So, just some examples up there. For example, with your academic work, everything from writing essays, presentations, project work, lab work, absolutely anything that you have done as part of your studies, you might have just thought, well, I've done it because I've been told to do it, it's part of my course. Actually, when you look at the skills that you've had to use, that employers really, really value, and academics really value, it helps you to appreciate everything that you've done and how you can use those skills in other areas. So, for example, writing an essay, people would say to me, I'd never talk about the fact that I had to write essays in an interview situation or to anybody because it's writing an essay, I just did it. Well, actually, you might have had to do some research, you might have had to kind of work in a small group with other people and get some ideas together. Within that group, you might have had very different ways of working, and you might have had to use some really kind of difficult communications in terms of negotiating with people, being assertive. You wouldn't necessarily have thought about that, because when we go about our day-to-day lives, we don't sit there kind of reflecting on all of that and analysing all the skills that we've used. But the employers that we work with have fed back to us that when students are able to talk about the skills that they've developed and to be really kind of specific about it, I did it in this way and these are the specific skills that I developed in this way, then that is what really impresses them and that helps you to stand out. So looking at work as well, work-related activities are really, really valid. So things like any part-time work that you might have had, any volunteering that you might have done some work experience or work shadowing in the past. All of those things that you might have done, again, it might have been just to earn a little bit of money, but actually the huge number of skills that you will have developed through that is something that you need to kind of be able to reflect on, talk about, and be specific about. And then finally, everything outside of that. So you might have hobbies that you do just purely because you're passionate about them and you really enjoy them, okay? But again, these programs that I'm going to talk to you about today help you to acknowledge all of the skills that you've developed through taking part in those, and also be able to showcase them in a future kind of employment situation or when you're talking to academics about them, and just helps you to reflect on everything that you're doing. And we give you recognition for that. So you get certificates, you get feedback from people, etc. Okay, can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so this is the purpose of the two programs before I talk about them individually and what they involve. So first of all, the first stage of either of these programs really is to recognise everything that you already do. So when I've talked about the Uea Award specifically to students before, quite often I'll have students come up to me and say, this award looks really interesting, but you know, I haven't really got anything that I can put towards it, I don't think. I've done some bits and bobs, but they're really not worth talking about. They're just kind of, I did them because I was earning a few quid, or it's a hobby, you know, I play football and I do it because I enjoy it. I had a student come up to me who said, I haven't got time to do anything extra because I'm a carer at home, so I won't be able to do the award. And actually, once we got talking about the skills that they've had to use as a carer to somebody, time management skills, talking to outside agencies, those kind of caring duties, everything that they had done are skills that are then valuable in other areas of their life that they needed to reflect on and get recognition for. So they actually were really successful and went through their award. And they did have other activities that they'd done as well. They just didn't really think about them because we do an awful lot and we just disregard them. Okay. Secondly, what we do, once you've realised how much you already do and that you've already done, and you've got a bit of a list, okay, then we start talking about the attributes, you might want to call them skills or qualities, that you've developed through taking part in those activities. So when we developed the Uea Award specifically, that was in 2015, Discover program's a little bit newer, we actually went to graduate employers and said, in an ideal world, when our students go to you and apply for a job and they're in an interview with you, what are the skills that you want to see that they have developed? You know, what kind of evidence do you want to see? And they said to us, we get really frustrated because we know that your students are fantastic, that they do an awful lot, that through doing an awful lot, they have developed lots of attributes and skills that we're looking for, but they just don't talk about them. Okay? And the skills that they're looking for that I will show you in a moment aren't rocket science, you know. They're things like communication skills, time management, self-management, all the things that you're doing all the time. But what they said to us was that people find it really hard to be specific about that and to blow their own trumpet and showcase that, okay? The feedback that we've had from students is, I'm embarrassed to showcase it because I don't want to sit there. I feel like, you know, I feel really boastful if I sit and say, look how great I am because I've done all of this and I've got all of these skills. So what we do with the Discover programme and the Uea Award is we give you strategies. First of all, as I said, to realise everything that you already do and how much you already do and have done. Secondly, we show you the skills and attributes that employers have told us they're looking for, but also that are really valuable in your day-to-day life. And thirdly, we give you a really simple way, a structure that you can use to talk about all of these things so that you showcase them and you're fair to yourself and say, do you know what, I did this and I developed these skills, but the structure that you use is quite clever in that it doesn't make you feel like you're boasting or sound like you're showing off. You've got every right to show off, but frankly a lot of people feel uncomfortable doing that. Okay, can I have the next slide please? Thank you. Okay, so the differences between the two. The Discover programme is a kind of basic introduction to reflecting on all of these things. So what we have done is we've taken 4 of the main attributes that we look at on the Uea Award, and we have kind of created some activities that will help you to get some hints and tips on how to develop those attributes. It's an automated program, so when you go onto the portal on My Uea, there is a section for Career Central, and then when you get into that, it says Uea Award. I've actually got some of these little cards today where it's even easier. You can just scan the QR code and it takes you straight there. So if you want to have a look at it, then you can grab one of these at the end. So it's an automated program. There's an introduction with a video, a link to a video that talks to you about reflection, why it's a really good idea to reflect on your activities and the skills you developed. It shows you the structure. We call it the COL structure, which stands for context, actions, results, and learning. And you'll kind of learn about that if you have a look at the program. That's the structure that we use to reflect on what we've done. So what was the context? What was the actual activity? What did you actually do? What were the actions? What were the results of your actions? Doesn't have to be positive. It might be that you attempted to do some public speaking and your nerve overcame you and it didn't go particularly well. That's fine, because then we talk about what did you learn from that. Okay, and again we've had students saying, do you know, I completely fell to pieces during this presentation. I really did a lot of kind of free work. I worked really hard on the slides. They looked amazing. Then I got up there and realized I hated every second of it and I completely crumbled. So what I've learned from that is that I need to do some work on that. I need to find some strategies, some breathing techniques or something to help me with my nerves. Perhaps I need to practice it in front of a friend first or something like that. So that kind of reflection really helps you then with your next steps. What can I do next to just help me make that a bit, make that a little bit easier next time and to improve on that? So with the Discover program, when you log on, you will see this kind of screen. There are 3 different kind of levels, if you like, depending on how much time you want to spend on it, and you do receive an e-certificate on completion of each level. The levels are just how many points you get. So there are certain activities that you can complete, and every time you complete an activity, you get a number of points. We've called it pass, merit, distinction levels. It's just, how many points that you accrue, really. Some people might want to go through the whole program. Other people might have a look at Discover and think, well, do you know what? There's a section on communication skills. There's something about public speaking and presentation skills on there. There's an activity about writing coherent emails for different purposes. I'm really confident actually with my email writing for different audiences, so I'm not going to look at that. I'm just going to look at the presentation skills bit. Some people might find all of it really useful, so it completely depends on how you want to use it. So you can work through it at your own pace. Absolutely all students are open to the Discover program, so it's for undergrads, postgrads, mature students. Absolutely anybody can access Discover. And you can work through it at your own pace. So with Discover, because it is automated, there's not the award team, me and Tom on the award team, we don't kind of check what you've done, we don't read your little reflections that you write. It's completely for you, and it's a personal kind of program that you can work through to help you. So what you do once you're on Discover, I'd say it's split into 4 different attributes. One of them is communication, for example. So when you click on communication, there's then a drop-down menu with different activities that you can complete. One of them is on public speaking and presentation skills. That's a short kind of 3-minute video of people giving hints and tips about how they've overcome nerves with public speaking, ways that you can approach it, etc. Once you've worked through a few activities, there's then a box for you to write a little reflection on how those activities may have helped you, how you might then use this in your day-to-day life. So it might be, that tip that somebody gave in that video was really useful. I've got to do some presentations as part of my course, so I'm moving forward. I might actually take that tip on board. It might be, it's kind of made me realise now that I am quite confident with public speaking. What those people were saying, I seem to have sorted it out. So it's just kind of reflecting on everything that you do and thinking about, where are my skills gaps? What am I particularly good at? What are my strengths? What do I need to do moving forward? So that's the Discover program, and as I say, it's very personal to you. Nobody's going to check up on what you've written or anything like that. Can I have the next slide? Thank you. So then moving on from Discover, we've got the Uea Award. Okay, so the Uea Award is, as it says on the tin really, is an award. There are 3 levels, bronze, silver and gold, and it builds on the Discover program, what the Discover program does. So with the Uea Award, we ask you to think about all of the activities that you've done and you're already doing. At each stage, at bronze, silver and gold, you have to log so many hours of activities under 4 categories. So we have academic, work-related, campus and personal, and career management. And once you join the award, if you decide to, we run an introduction training so that you know exactly what you're doing, and there's a video on the workflow as well, so you can watch that and it tells you absolutely everything you need to know about kind of how many activities you need, what kinds of activities, etc. You can use activities from up to 3 years ago, apart from the academic category, which has to be UEA based. But obviously you're going to be doing academic work, that's why you're here. So that's not something that hopefully you'll struggle with. On the screen then, we have got the attributes that we help you link your activities to. So these are the attributes that our graduate employers said they're looking for when people are applying for work with them. But it's absolutely not just about when you're applying for jobs. It's about everything that you do. It's about your academic work. It might be, any volunteering that you do, your interactions with people day to day. All of these kind of skills and attributes are so valuable in everything that you do. So looking at them, as I said, they're not rocket science, but what we do on the award is we break them down into what we call sub-attributes. So if you take something like communication skills, many of us are very guilty at interviews and when we're talking to people about our strengths at saying things like, I'm a good communicator, or that really helps me to communicate well. And that doesn't actually tell us an awful lot about what you did, how you communicate well, etc. So what we do on the award, when you click on communication, you'll get something called a workflow on the screen, and you get to click on that. It then drops down and it will ask you, well, what kind of communication skills was that? Was it that you had to do some public speaking? Was it that you had to write something for a certain audience to be persuasive or informative? It might be that you had to use social media effectively for marketing purposes. Okay? So there are lots of different ways of communicating. Some of them might be a little bit different. So commercial awareness is doing some really good research throughout your course on the kind of areas that you might be interested in working in later on, okay? And again, our kind of employers who we spoke to said that's often lacking. People think that they want to hear about your academic course, which is great. Of course they want to hear about your academic work. It's really interesting, you've worked incredibly hard at it. But what they want to hear about as well is, have you thought about where this might lead? Have you done some research into those different areas? Because an awful lot of people miss that out. Other things like problem solving, self-management and professionalism. Self-management is just things like, you got yourself here on time for a talk. You have got to get yourself up for different things. You've got to juggle priorities. Okay, you're going to have lots of different things going on, and you're going to have to be able to juggle them, manage your time properly, to say prioritize. Okay, and again, you might take that for granted and think, I'm not going to talk about that. Everybody has to do that. Yeah, but if you can give us a specific example of where you've had to do that on a regular basis, that really puts an employer's mind at rest, and also it helps you as well if you're thinking, well, actually, I've reflected on that, and do you know what? I'm not great at prioritizing. Let's find a way of helping me with that. We run courses in Careers Central. We've got lots of online. You guys can all access something called LinkedIn Learn, where there's lots of different online courses about that. So the award supports you to identify which of these are you already pretty good at, okay? And when you break it down with communication, you might think, actually, I love presenting. I really like public speaking, but I'm not a great fan of using kind of social media in different ways. That's not really my strength. So then you can identify that and think, okay, so what am I going to do to make that better and just kind of improve that? Digital literacy and IT is a big one, obviously. Certainly since last year when we were all kind of sent home and locked away, everybody heard of this thing called Zoom. I'd not heard of it before, and I was suddenly using it every day, and Teams, all those things. It's moving so quickly, so you can kind of talk about, how effective your skills are in the digital and IT side of things, and then think about what else could I be doing to improve that. So all of those are things to be thinking about, and we reflect on those in the Uea Award. With the Uea Award, again, it's open to absolutely all students, undergrad, postgrad talk, postgrad research, mature students, students with disabilities. We make any reasonable adjustments that you might need us to make for you, so it's always worth pinging us an email and having a chat with us about that. At the end of each stage, there's a kind of a final task, if you like. So at the end of the Bronze Award, you have to upload your CV, and we have a software program called CV360 that a lot of companies use actually now when if you know they're going to get an awful lot of applications for something because they just haven't got the manpower to read through every CV. So it's an AI program. Your CV goes through it, and then you get lots of feedback on your CV, kind of things like, this is particularly good, but you've repeated things a bit here. You might want to reword it. You might want to structure it slightly differently, and it gives you a percentage score, and then you can tweak it and put it through again and improve it, so it's really useful. At the end of the Silver Award, we ask you to make what we call a 3-minute video CV, which before last March, we got a lot of hassle from students about because they hated it. They're like, I don't want to record myself or see myself on a screen. As you can imagine, that's not a thing anymore because you guys, all of us, have had to look at our mugs on a screen, haven't we, for quite a while. So we do coach you through it. We run workshops. We support you at every stage of that. But we send those videos off to graduate employers who work with us, and all of those people made sure work with kind of graduates who are at the very early stage of their career. So they work with university students and very recent graduates, so they know what stage you're at. And pretty much, I'd say 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, they are incredibly impressed with the fact that you're just working through the award and that for yourself and making sure that you're that self-aware by the time you go on to apply for work. And at the end of Gold, there's the Gold Award panel where you do a 5-minute presentation to me, an employer, and usually an academic or a careers advisor about your award journey. It's very informal. It's my favourite part of my job because I just get to hear about the lovely award journeys and the cool activities that you guys have done. We've had, I think my favourite one was somebody who had no confidence at the beginning of their award, and by the end of it, they'd applied to be an elf in Lapland at Christmas and got it. It's amazing. I was like, how do you even get a job like that? Very competitive, apparently, but she managed. And now she's looking for conference to speak at, and so she really had a great journey, you know, but we hear a lot of that, and the main kind of nugget when I say to them, what's one thing will you really take away from this award? Students always say, confidence. You know, I started this thinking, I can't really bring much to the table. I haven't got a lot to talk about. And now I've got a log of everything that I've done because when you submit your activities, you type out a short reflection, 100 to 300 words. Every activity you log, you have that. And by the end of your Gold, you've just got it all listed, okay, in one big kind of log. So that when you apply for jobs or you want to talk to somebody about what you've been doing, it's all there and you don't need to rack your brains. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so the differences between Discover and the award then, I have spoken a little bit about this, but if we look at this diagram, there are lots of parallels. So they both help you with basic reflection, reflecting on what you've done, hopefully realising that you're doing an awful lot and that you're amazing already and that you just need to learn to showcase that and to big yourselves up. You do get e-certificates at the end of each stage in both, so you do get that kind of recognition as well. With the Uea Award, you also get what we call a digital badge. So we do encourage you a little bit further on to perhaps create a LinkedIn page. And that's always really good when you're thinking about what you might want to do in the future as well, because you can connect with people who are already doing that. You can connect with Uea alumni who studied your subject, see what they've gone on to do. It's really, really useful. And those digital badges you can share on there. You can add it to your CV, whatever you want to do. Okay, so with the Uea Award, the added value mainly that you get is feedback and support. So I'm on the Uea Award team, I manage it. We've got Tom as well, who works on the Uea Award team. Every time you make a submission of an activity, we give you feedback or we approve it. We run workshops. We're always on the end of a Teams call or an email if you've got any questions whatsoever about the award. We have student award ambassadors as well, so those people who have been through the award who can kind of talk to you about what they did and give you some ideas. We run drop-in sessions, so again, if there are people, you know, kind of students who are all on Bronze Award want to have a chat about what they're doing and get some ideas together, then we can do that as well. So lots of extra support. Get feedback from our careers advisors as well. You get the CV feedback from CV 360, and you also get feedback from graduate employers. It's really kind of, you know, low risk because they're not looking at you and thinking, oh wow, God, who'd employ them? You know, it's very much, wow, they're doing this award. How, you know, that's a fantastic way to gain that self-awareness and to reflect. I'm just really impressed that at that stage of their university career, they're doing that. And they're really, really lovely people. I'm very fussy about the employers that I have helping us with the award. They have to be very lovely, very understanding, but also very experienced in talking to students and giving that kind of advice and feedback. We also run a lot of focused skills workshops as well, okay, so you can access those. So they do differ. I actually had a student who'd been to my talk, this same talk on Monday, who saw me on Tuesday when I was in the other tent, and asked, can I actually use Discover, the activities on Discover, to help me with the award. And I thought that's a great, I don't know why I've never thought of that before, but absolutely, you can do both in parallel. So her example was that she knows she's got to do some presentations as part of her course. She hates the idea of it. She's really nervous already. She hasn't even started. But she said, you know, you said to me that there's an activity on there that will really help me with that, give me some tips. Can I look at that, use that to help me, do my presentation, and then write about that on the award? Yes, absolutely. That would be a really, really good way of using it as well. Okay. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so that's everything that I'm going to say about it today, because as I say, you're probably being bombarded with a huge amount of information at the moment. I hope you're having a nice week. It's lovely weather for it. But if you go on to my Uea, as I say, the Career Central tile, I think we call it, is a bright yellow thing. I think it's a picture of our lovely Tasha, who's one of our reception colleagues, at the yellow desk. So you will find it, it does stand out. And within that, once you've clicked on it, there is a Uea Award section. And within that is Uea Award, discover everything you need to know. But at the end, if you would like to pick up one of these, you just need to scan this and it will take you straight there anyway. You can hang around at the back for a while and answer any questions. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Paul. I'm with Do Something Different, and Do Something Different is all about that, doing something different. So looking at a lot of extracurricular activities, we work in partnership from the university with Student Union, and we offer then loads of different opportunities to get involved. Great way to do something different, a new activity, find a new hobby, meet people, socialize. We work a lot with clubs and societies as well. So I looked last night and we have over 165 taster sessions that you can get involved with for free with clubs and societies. It's a great way to try them before you buy a membership. So instead of you buying loads of different memberships, you go and try them. Even if you're not interested in joining the society, it's a great way to meet some new people and to try a different activity. So our events are run, like I said, a lot through clubs and societies, the student union, Uea Sport also organize a load of different activities for us. Careers, other groups on campus, as well as our Do Something Different team. So there's loads of opportunities to get involved with. We break it down into 5 categories. So active is quite, a lot of sports, a lot of physical activities, so like yoga, have free sessions. UEA Sport organize a whole program of events throughout the year. So all of our events are free or heavily subsidized. And we do that to make it as accessible financially, but we also work to make it as accessible, physically, ability-wise. So a lot of the tasters for sports, for example, you don't have to have any previous experience or knowledge. Creative, we work with the Student Art Society, and they do a Bob Ross painting workshop, which is always hugely popular, as well as life drawings and loads of other opportunities to do some arts. This year we're going to have a weekly art group that's going to meet every Wednesday in the evening from 5 to about 7. Again, completely free. Do different mediums, so lino carving, painting, clay work, so lots of opportunities to get creative, as well as a weekly craft group. It will work on what we got coming up, bookbinding, so traditional Japanese bookbinding. Great way to make your own little book and be then creative inside it, whatever it may be. Needle felting, polymer clay, Christmas decorations, so loads of different things, and again, that's happening every week. Exploring, we used to do load trips, go to the Harry Potter Studios, Alton Towers. Recently we went on a Broads boat trip, which was a lot of fun. We're still looking at how we can do trips this year, which will be safe, but it's still enjoyable and having a fantastic opportunity. Tonight we have a Welcome to Norwich talk, which goes through the history of Norwich and everywhere you can go and visit, then explore later on with yourself or other people. And that's tonight at 5 to 6 p.m. if you're interested. Skills. We try to give you opportunities, but we also want to give you skills, abilities, and experiences to help build your employability, to help make you as successful as a student as you can be. So we work a lot with the Career Service and some other student groups to put on some other activities. This next week we have a photography workshop, so it's an intro to photography with both camera phones and as well as DSLR cameras. So it's a great way you can get and start to make some better pictures, even if you're just doing it for social media, whatever you like. It's a great way to enhance your skills. And as well, having a self-defense workshop of Kamaga, which is, again, free and accessible to all. Urge everyone to come and have a bit of fun. We also have coming up in week 4 and 5, a day and a half leadership workshop with Dr. Manafomba. She has done a brilliant TEDx talk about, it's called No, You Cannot Touch My Hair, where she had a bit of a campaign. I suggest you YouTube it. It's not very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes, but it's a really good watch, really powerful. But she's coming to lead a workout for us. The first day will be a full day, and then the second Friday will be a half a day morning. So I suggest you have a look at that as well. Well-being becomes an interesting category for ourselves. We do focus sometimes on your kind of personal, maybe mental well-being, but everything we do is actively promoting, enhancing your personal well-being, whether it's being active, whether it's learning new skills, exploring new places, meeting new people, or being creative and having a bit of time for yourself, painting a picture that you've never done before maybe. So sometimes, like I said, we do target. We have a confidence building workshop, which is actually targeting your kind of, your personal well-being. In our confidence building series, we have a confidence building workshop with the student services well-being team, and that's to be on next Wednesday. We have a study group taster, which is coming up, another self-defense workshop, and a creative retreat afternoon that will go, it's about 30 minutes down the road, it's a bit of an artsy center where we're going to go do a lot of creative exploring, whether it's with clay or painting, a fire, make some tea, have some lunch. There's hammocks to chill out in. So if you're thinking things are getting a bit too much and you want a bit of a chill out, it's a great opportunity to have that. We also organize a lot of meetups and just social opportunities like we have gone through the last week, if you've attended any. We also have a couple other sessions coming up, the Coloring Conversations, which is just a coloring group to chill out. You can chat with people, you can bring your headphones and have a bit of a mindful coloring. That's fine, that's not a problem. That'll happen weekly and Tuesday mornings. We'll also have postgraduate coloring conversations on a Friday morning. Have the arcade zone and gaming board zone day in the SU, and that's up until 6 p.m. tonight. We also celebrate Liberation and Awareness Months, weeks. Keep an eye on that. We have Black History Month coming up in October, so we have a lot planned for that as well. We also do cultural holidays. So DSD does Halloween, 12 days of DSD. We celebrate Eid. So we have loads of celebrations and activities we go along that's focused on a certain topic. We're going to have the Human Library, which is a great event and a great organization as well, where you, as the reader, will go and borrow a book, which is another person. So it's kind of flipping that idea of how you take in information. In the first 5 minutes, your book will talk about their experience, where they've come from. It's usually that person has a book title about a stigmatized group that they come from. So maybe it's that they have ADHD or they've either are or were an alcoholic. And so you talk about that. They'll introduce themselves and their past, but then it gives you time, and you can do it with yourself or in a group, and you can have a conversation, ask any questions you want to learn and to find out, to break down stereotypes and prejudices. So that's going to be a great event, and that's going to happen in week 2 in here. So keep an eye out on that as well. We have a couple of fortnightly groups starting up, a video game and an intercultural group, which is looking at different types of movies from groups. So that's going to be really fun and interesting as well. There is way too much to list of what we do, but everything is online. You go onto the Student Union's events page and then click on the Do Something Different filter, and you'll find out everything. Like I said, at the moment there's loads of taster sessions, and that'll continue for the next few weeks. We also have a ueadifferent.com website, which takes you, and that's specifically just for something different events. We have an email list you can sign up to, which will email you about once a week, let you know, keep you update on what's happening, what's coming up for the next week or two. But we also do prizes and competitions throughout the year, various things, whether it's to sign up for the email list or if you're already on it and to have a chance to win. So we have lots going on throughout the whole year. But it's giving you that opportunity, and we just want to help ensure that you're making the most of your experience. The academics, of course, is hugely important, but we want to make sure that you have a well-balanced experience while you're at UEA, and that's where Do Something Different can really help. But that's what we can do. We also encourage students, yourselves, to organize things. We can help, whether it's a bit of financial help, whether it's helping with advice on what you need to do to organize, and we can help promote, of course. So if there is something, whether it's yourself, a group of friends, like, oh, we really want to do this activity, we can make that happen together. So that's something we're always hugely passionate about, is getting you involved. But as well, it's very much great for me, I'm starting to get on my age, of what I think you want to do. But I would love to hear what you would like us to do for you. Is there any kind of event, activity? We had a wall up the other day and people are giving us advice, suggestions. One person wrote skydiving, which would be amazing, but I don't know if we can make that happen. But does anyone have any ideas of any suggestions of something that you're interested in, or you think other people would be interested in, that we can organize? Yes.
I'd like to go to Stanton, which is the hidden village in North Norfolk.
In North Norfolk? Yeah.
Occupied the Navy Army town.
So that was to visit Santa in North Norfolk. We could look at organizing a trip up there, definitely. It's one of the other things we do work with, is trying to put on activities for various different groups on campus, and one of them being families, so trying to do maybe a trip to that, specifically target at young kids. So it wouldn't necessarily be for yourselves, so if you see something about going to Bewilderwood or seeing Santa. Any other suggestions that we can do? I mean, you can always get in contact with us through the student union. If you do, you can always find out more, and love to see you come to some of our events. Great. Any questions before we go? No? Well, thank you for that. Thanks.
Hi everybody, good afternoon. It's nice to see you all here. We're live streaming as well, so I don't know whether this is it. There's hundreds of people watching from around the city. Anyway, it's really nice to be able to have my turn today to stand up here and say welcome to UEA. My name's Helena Gillespie and I am the Associate Pro-Vice Chancellor for Student Inclusion. That means that my projects this year are going to be around curriculum, around internationalisation and study abroad, around support for disabled students, and making sure that we're doing as much as we can to support equality, diversity and inclusion here at UEA. And it's especially nice to have this opportunity to welcome you here, because 32 years ago I was where you are as a UEA undergraduate, and it feels like just yesterday. We didn't have all of this. But it is really a privilege to be able to do this. And it gets me sort of wondering where your UEA journey will take you. Mine hasn't taken me in the direction that I was expecting, so maybe that's a good thing. Oh no. So, slides aren't in the right order. So I think it's really important for us as a community to come together and support one another as we start our UEA journeys together. And what I'm here to do today really is to start handing over in a moment to some of my colleagues who are going to help you on that journey as you navigate UEA. If you've got any questions, really important to make sure that you ask them. Don't be left wondering about anything. And these fantastic people in the pink Ask Me t-shirts are here for a reason and really keen to ask. So make sure that you do. Clicker definitely not working. Just before I hand over though, I want to make sure that you're really clear that when I stand up here and talk to you about Welcome to UEA, the next stage of this conversation is for you to feedback to us. We've just started a new sort of survey on campus for this year called the Pulse Survey, and you may already have received an invitation to participate in that. And those are going to be short, focused, regular opportunities for you to feed to us about how your experience is. And as we move to a post-COVID university, as we welcome everybody back onto the campus after 2 pandemic-disrupted years, it's particularly important for us to hear your voice back. So please, if you have that opportunity, if you receive that information, do let us know how it's going for you. You can also talk to your lecturers, to your academic advisor. You can talk to my colleagues here in the Students' Union and in all of the professional services. Please feel reassured that when you tell us something, we want to hear it and we're really here to listen. On that note, I'm going to hand over to Ivo from the Students' Union.
Oh, here we go. Oh, I'll raise that up. Hello, everyone. You are having a good week? Yeah, there we go. It's more enthusiasm than I got yesterday. So, my name is Ivor Garnham, and I am the Undergraduate Education Officer at UEA Students' Union. So, my role includes dealing with things such as representing undergrads, academic matters, teaching spaces, curriculum changes, and timetables. So, I also lead our system of course representation. So each year of each course, we'll have a course rep who's responsible for passing on feedback and working with your school staff to improve your course. Being a course rep is a really valuable experience because you'll get to influence change and you'll also gain skills in networking, problem solving and leadership. So if you want some more information about that, feel free to come and speak to me or speak to one of our team. And you can head to the UEA website, UEA.su website, click on course representation under the education tab. So you can sign up now, and if you're interested, I recommend doing that sooner rather than later because the recruitment is quite competitive. So if you want to talk to me about anything or find out about what I'm up to, feel free to send me an email, or you can get me on Facebook or Instagram. So I believe I'm now passing over to Lizzie.
Sorry, we're all quite different heights here. So hi everyone, I'm Lizzie and I'm the Activities and Opportunities Officer at Uea Students' Union, which basically means I represent students on all the great things you can do outside your degree. So clubs, volunteering, societies, good things basically. I'm going to give you a whirlwind tour of what the SU can do for you. I've only got a minute, so I'm going to get going. Okay, so what is a student union? So a student union is a charity and it's independent of the university. So you can come to us and we don't have to tell the university that you come to us for advice for clubs and societies, things like that. As you are a UEA student, you are automatically enrolled to the SU, so you automatically have all of the availability that we do for you as a student union. Okay, so we're run by 5 full-time officers, which you can see on screen, and then also 14 part-time officers who represent you on a range of areas from things like environment, welfare, liberation. So just making sure that every student that goes to UEA does feel represented and supported by their university. And we lobby and campaign to the university to make sure that it really is an experience that you want as a student here. So moving on to what we can do for you as a students' union. So I'm not going to go too much into clubs because we've got a talk by UEA Sport later. But we do have 57 different sports clubs at UEA, and the partnership that we play with the university as a students' union is that we make sure that students are kept at the forefront of it. So students run clubs for students, and committees and things are kind of led by the SU to make sure that student representation is there. We also have over 200 different societies, so these are solely run by the Students' Union. There's societies like arts and performance societies, there's cultural societies, religious societies, games and hobbies, so many of societies that you can join. And if there isn't one for you, then you can create. It takes about 2 months probably. You just have to get it signed off by Union Council, and just it's a new opportunity for students to join if you see that we are missing one. Did any of you go to the societies or clubs fair? Yeah, nice. So you guys will know what's available. But if you haven't been, then you can go onto the uea.su website, and there's all of the list of clubs and SOCs that we have available for you to join, and you can find out more information there. If you do want to get in contact with any committee members, if you just head over to their social media channels, their Instagram or Facebook, then committees are in charge of them, so they'll answer any of the questions that you have. But really do recommend that over the next few weeks that you go to the Do Something Different sessions, which are all free. It's kind of like a try before you buy scheme. You don't have to hand over any money. It's just seeing whether you like the feel of it, seeing whether you like the people who are also going to those taster sessions as well, as to whether it's one that you really want to join when you're really part of your degree. Okay, moving on to our venues. Have you been to the LCR yet? Yeah? Some nods in here. So the LCR is the room in a Union House. It's our club night venue, but we've also got a nightclub venue in the city centre called Waterfront, and both of these host regular club night. So in the LCR we have Damn Good on a Tuesday and A-List on a Saturday, and then propaganda out in the city as well. But there's also quite an extensive gig programme as well. So we've had like Ed Sheeran in the past, Coldplay, we went to have Lewis Capaldi last year. So if you're interested into the music and the culture, then definitely have a look at what gigs we have, because you can get tickets to all of them as a student here at UEA. We also have some clubs and societies run events in the LCR, so we've had like Strictly Come Dancing run by the Ballroom and Latin Dance Club, we've had So You Think You Can Cheer Dance, MMA Fight Night, so loads and loads of stuff going on in the LCR, so try and keep an eye on what's going on because it's all available for you to go to. Moving on to Buddy SU. So this is a scheme which predominantly matches up people within their first year of study with somebody who's in their second or third, kind of knows the ropes of university a little bit better than you might do at this point in time. And they're just there to be a familiar face around campus. You can meet up with them, go for a coffee. You can take them to do something different sessions with you if you're a little bit worried about going by yourself. They're just there to be somebody who can answer your questions, because it's all kind of a bit daunting when you first come to uni and you literally know no one. But having a buddy there to support you, to answer any questions, to signpost you is really useful. And you can still sign up to Buddy SU on the uea.su website. So if you are looking to have a buddy matched up with you, then definitely go up and sign up, because they'll be there for you throughout the year. And you might find you might want to be a buddy for a new student next year as well. And you're kind of matched up in your interests and hobbies, so you've got some commonalities to talk about as well when you do meet up. And finally, just going on to Advice SU. So we really care that you guys have best experience at uni, but we do recognise that you might go on, have some struggles along the way. So we have trained advisors who are here for you, and because we are separate of the university, we don't have to tell the university that you've come to us with any advice or well-being issues that you might be facing. So we can help you on things like well-being, money, employability, anything that you might think that you might need a little bit extra help on. Advice SU is always there for you. So that's it from me on the SU. But make sure you do utilise Do Something Different sessions. We have got a talk today in the LCR after this on postgraduates, I think. No? By Aaron, who's going to talk later on welfare and what we can provide as an SU there. So if you're interested in that, then just head over to the LCR at 1 o'clock for more information on that. I'm now going to hand over to Davey from security, which actually is quite a fun talk. Don't switch off.
Afternoon all, you alright? Yeah, welcome to UEA on behalf of the UEA security team. So I'm going to just talk to you for a few minutes about who we are, what we do, and then how you can contact us. So the last slide, I know everyone says, don't take your phones out and these sorts of talk, but if you want to take your phone out and take a picture of the last slide, it's got some numbers on there for you, so please feel free to do so. So you might ask, who are we? What is UEA security? Well, we're quite a small team. It consists of the head of the department, and then you've got the operations manager, which is me. And then we have 4 teams of 7 on the main campus. We also look after the library, and we also look after a building over by the hospital called the Quadrant Building, which is a food research centre. But what's key to know here is that we are here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There will always be a security team on duty, on hand, for you while you are here on UEA campus. So the team itself, we only work for UEA. We're not an outside security team. So the staff members and the security officers that you see whilst you're here on campus, you will see them throughout the year. You will see the same faces. You will get to know some of them. They're all really friendly. Please feel free to come up and talk to us and ask us anything you want to. We are here to make sure that you guys are safe while you are here on campus. We're all very well trained, and some of them, like myself, we've been here for over 17 years. So trust me, there isn't anything that we haven't seen or we haven't dealt with in the past. So please, I can't stress this enough, please come and speak to us if you see us and ask us any questions. So you might ask, what do we do? This is it in a nutshell. This is why we are here. We are here to provide a safe, secure and peaceful environment for staff, students and visitors to the campus. That's it. It's simple. We're just here to make sure that you guys are safe while you are here on campus. So at this point, I liken the university to this giant machine where there's all these little cogs going around, keeping the machine going. Well, sometimes, as you know, with all machines, a cog might fall off. When that cog falls off, it will be us who will then come to see why that has fallen off and then hopefully put the cog back on. So some of the things that we deal with, as you can see, it's quite a long list. We deal with welfare, we deal with alarms, we open and close the whole university. We're the out-of-hours department pretty much everywhere within the university. We manage and support events, we deter and detect crime, we manage traffic, we're first responders, we deal with health and safety incidents, and the list just goes on and on. But the one thing that is quite important here is that we offer free security advice. So if there's anything you want to know, again, please feel free to come over and talk to us. So we are essentially the fire service, the ambulance service, and the police for the whole of the UEA campus. And this is the final slide before I pass over to my colleague Jock. So if you want to take a photograph of these numbers, please feel free. The top number is our emergency number, which hopefully you'll never need, but no doubt you will need the non-emergency number at some point during your time here. And the email address is also monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you just want to drop us an email, we will get back to you straight away. And if you don't know what the Safe Zone is, please look it up. It's a great app that we've just brought in this year, which again will keep you safe while you're on campus. It's absolutely fantastic. So I cannot stress enough how decent that app is. So please download that. I'm going to pass off to Jock now. So thanks for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Jock Downey. I'm here from Student Services to talk to you about wellbeing today. So hopefully you're having a good week, you're enjoying the facilities that we've got, the UEA, you're tapping some of the stuff that's here, and it can be a really exciting period that you're with us at the university. but we want to acknowledge that there are going to be times when things don't feel like they're going the way that you want them to, or actually maybe even worse than that, maybe you're having a really tough time and you're struggling. We are here to support you in those situations. And student services have got a full range of things and ways that we can support you within that. What we're really conscious of, especially, is people coming to us for the first time saying, look, I don't really want to bother anyone. I'm sure there are people that have got a lot bigger problems that need your help. And actually, we are here for everybody, from the smallest thing all the way through to some of the biggest challenges that people face in their lives. And we've split our service to reflect that. So what I'll draw your attention to, first of all, is on our slide, the kind of accessing the service. There are a couple of really simple ways to access our service. By going on to the UEA website and finding some services, you can find our referral forms there. We ask a load of information, but that's to help make sure we get you to the right person straight away, to cut down on the amount of times that you might have to tell that story. We look to get back to you within a couple of days, and our target is to try and reach people within 10 days to give them an appointment. Next along the line might be one of the first things that you kind of want to come and have a look at if you're dealing with your welfare for the first time. It's gone a bit wrong, which is our workshops and training. We do a number of workshops for students. We do those online. You can come along, you can get some really good hints and tips about how to look to your own welfare, some things you can do to just kind of bring yourself back up again. If that feels too much, we've got a really good self-help guide on the website itself that you can do without any interaction with a human being, if that's where you want to start. If you're unsure where to start with that, or you don't really know what you want from help, we have our embedded teams, and you can see each faculty has an embedded team email box that you can go and have a look at. Again, all that information's on the student services section of the website. Come along, have a find out. Want to ask us any question, these are the guys to answer that. If things are going on a little bit longer for you, or perhaps you've arrived with a disability that you know might put up a couple of barriers to your education, we have a disability team and a team of mental health advisors that can work with you a bit more in depth. And we can look at stuff where the course might need reasonable adjustment, or maybe access adjustments for when you're sitting exams, additional things that you might need. We can support you with that. To access that service, again, it's just using that online referral form or speaking to your embedded team. And then finally, there are points throughout your time here where you might feel you could use a talking therapy solution to what you're going through. You will find that at the end, they've got their own separate referral form, but it sits directly underneath our referral form for the main part of student services. Talking therapies do a thing where we call single session therapy. Now that doesn't mean you're only entitled to one session, but we treat every session as it might be your last. So you can come and get the best you can from us. So you don't need to sign up to 6 weeks. You can come along, have a session, go away and use the skills that you've learned in that session. If you find a month down the line that you could do with another session, all you have to do is contact your therapist and they can arrange another session for you and you see the same person. By doing it that way, what we've experienced is we can have a really quick turnaround time from the time that you're saying, I could do with support, to a few days later you sitting in a session with that therapist. Now at the minute, a lot of the stuff that we do is online, but we're also just about to launch our in-person service for the first time in a couple of years. Everything that you need to find out about us, please use those email addresses, please use that online referral form. Thank you. I'm going to hand you over to colleague Aaron from the Student Union to talk about welfare there. Thanks.
Move this up a little bit so it's a bit more my height. Afternoon? Yeah, it is afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. My name is Uea Award. Campbell. I'm the Welfare, Community and Diversity Officer for this year. So stuff that I'm involved in includes things like student well-being, housing, mental health, discrimination, liberation campaigns, community work, charity work, advocacy work, anything to do with basically your welfare, the community, that being the UEA community or wider community, and also any issues around diversity. So, your experience matters to us, okay? The SU, it's like for students by students. So each one of the officers that is here, we have been or are currently students, as well as the fact, and all the part-time officers as well. So we're here to help with your well-being alongside the university. And some of the things that we have include the Advice Centre. So as you walk into Union House, you'll see on the right-hand side, it's that first little door with a little room in there. You can go in there if you're having issues with housing, with issues with well-being, welfare, things like that. They're here to give you advice. As Lizzie said earlier, the advice they do give you is completely separate from the university, so we won't have to tell them that you've been about. And directly outside of that as well is the welfare zone. Today, the alcohol impact team are actually there talking about like just how drinking and make sure you don't drink too much, because we all drink responsibly, right? Obviously as well, we have our student support and feedback groups. They work alongside society, so some of these may cross over some societies that you may see, but areas include LGBTQ+, non-white or POC students, disabled students, WINS+, mature students, postgraduate students, commuter students. So if you fall into any of those categories and you have any ideas, any thoughts, or you just want to find people who have a similar lived experience as you and just people to relate to, this is available for you. One of our biggest things is our campaigns work. So we have many campaigns, including Good Night Out, which is all about having a good night out. So there's several things on that, including Safer Taxi, which most probably won't need this year, but it's something important to know about. It's a scheme that we run which allows you to use your campus card to pay for a taxi home in case you don't have actual money to get home. We also have our Never Okay scheme, which is all about sexual conduct and behaviour and making sure that people are behaving in an appropriate way. And you will also see it on the stalls in the Hive when you close the doors. There's an option for a number that you can text and call if you find yourself in a difficult situation. Apart from that, other campaigns we have include Eradicate Hate, which is a student-run campaign, which is all about discrimination and also teaching people how to be anti-racist as we try to establish an anti-racist organisation. And then lastly, Report and Support, which is your all-encompassing thing for around welfare, well-being. If you have issues or if you've been a victim of any sort of discrimination or something, this is somewhere you can report and also get signposted to support that is appropriate for you. So ultimately, we are here to create an inclusive environment, and we do this through many different things. We do it through our clubs and societies. We do it through our nights out. Some of you probably been to Damn Good, A-List, things like that. We do it through our Liberation Months, including Black History Month, which is actually next month, which I've been working very hard on, so I hope to see some of you guys get involved in some of that stuff, as well as a bunch of other stuff. But ultimately, it's your SU and it's your university experience, so we want you to have the biggest say possible. And on that note, if you get that reference, I'm very impressed, by the way. I feel like a lot of people have missed that. But anyway, I personally hate being behind my desk. It's very boring to be in and around people as much as I can be, especially after the past year and a half. So if you want to give me an excuse to get from behind my desk, you want to talk about any issues, you want to talk about any ideas, anything at all, even if you just want to gossip, because I am a huge gossip, I just love all the tea, all the drama, you can email me, you can Instagram, or you can use the Facebook, or you can just come up to Union House upstairs in the office. I'm there pretty much every day. Just come and find me. You'll see me. I'm pretty tall. You'll be where I am. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, and I'll pass it over to you.
Hi everyone, hope we're well. So my name is Hugh. I'm one of the Sport and Physical Activity Development Coordinators at UEA Sport. Now I say UEA Sport, sport is only kind of part of what we do. There's a lot of kind of just general activity and getting you guys active on campus and outside of campus that we do, and that's what we really want to try and get over to you guys. It's not just about the sports clubs or being in the performance side of things, it's also about just general day-to-day walking around, enjoying yourselves, being outdoors and having fun. It's a very quick whistle-stop tour about what we can provide for you, but if you take anything away, do have a look into how you can get in contact with us. If you have any inquiries or want to know more about what we offer, ueasport.co.uk or studentsport@uea.ac.uk, get in contact with us and we can show you a bit more about what we provide. So one of our things that we do, we have an app that you can download called UEA Moves. If you download it by the end of this week, you get a bonus 200 points. It basically tracks the steps that you do each week, or each day, sorry, as well as miles run, miles cycled, things like that. Those points, you get points for that, and you can use those points to redeem free coffees on campus, or free t-shirts, hoodies, water bottles. There's a whole host of stuff there. You can even donate your points to Tree with the World Land Trust. So I definitely recommend you downloading that. Another app that you can download is Quest. This is a really interesting one that we just kind of launched. It's kind of a geocaching type app that you can use. It shows all the different kind of waymark trails that we have signposted around campus, different kind of places you can go, round the lake, kind of woodland walks and Ronnie Lane playing fields, and there are different spots that you can kind of log into and checkpoint on the app there. So another really useful app, an interesting one to get you outdoors. And then as part of our active campus program, we have lots of different programs that you get involved with just to stay active. So for instance, at Sports Park, we have £1 drop-in sports that you can do on a weekly timetable. You can just pay for one go, or you can pay for each week, each time you want to do it. There's swimming, volleyball, men's football, all those badminton, all those different sports that you can pay £1, turn up, and there'll be people there to deliver the session for you. And we also have kind of the wellbeing dog walks on a Wednesday afternoon, where you just pay £1, turn up, and there'll be a load of people there with dogs that you can walk around Erlen Park and just enjoy if you have dogs at home that you're missing. We also have Navigate Norfolk day trips. On a Saturday, if you pay £5, you get on a coach with us, we'll take you to the beach, we'll take you to Thetford Forest or any other kind of National Trust sites, and go for a kind of a led walk around somewhere really nice in the Norfolk countryside. So again, something that you can get to know other people with or go as a group. A really good one that we enjoy doing. You can also hire equipment from us for free for your home or for your flat or with a group of you. We've kind of got rounders, lots of equipment like rounders, bats, giant dominoes, swing ball, all those kind of things that you can hire for free from us. So you can book that through our website as well. Really recommend doing that just to kind of have your fun activities when you're not studying or when you're at home in the evening. I mentioned earlier about the £1 kind of drop-in sports and the £2 group exercise classes as well. The group exercise classes include Zumba, boxercise, all sorts of things. So again, that's in our week timetable that you'll be able to see online. You just book in on the Sports Park UEA app, or you can go to Sports Park reception and book on there. And again, the group exercise sessions are led by someone for you. We also have a Ziggurat challenge, which is kind of challenges between academic schools, so biology, medicine, all the different ones. You can get a team which includes your lecturers if you want to have them included. And we have lots of different kind of sporting challenges and events that you kind of compete against these different schools throughout the year. It can include all sorts of things like bocce, Quidditch, and all different kind of general activities as well. So really, it's a free one. You just have to turn up with your team and take part. It's a really good one to get involved with. We also have other events during the year, like Colour Run, where you can run around. We'll have a route around campus. You're just throwing kind of paint and everything at everyone, just having a good time. There's no kind of competition really in it. It's just a good social event to do. Santa Run as well, kind of around Christmas time, a similar thing. Dress up in all your fancy dress costumes. And roller disco we have tomorrow evening, and we'll hopefully set up a few more in Sports Park, where you'll be able to borrow some roller skates and go roller skating around with a DJ and a disco and everything going on. Lizzie's going to mention a bit more about our sports clubs, but we have 57, as Lizzie mentioned earlier, anything from sub-aqua scuba diving to American football to basketball, to sailing to surfing, so lots that you can get involved with there. So that's it from me really. If you want to kind of chat to us about volunteering, we do rely a lot on volunteers, student volunteers, to help run all these sessions and programs for us and with us. So do get in touch with us on our website or student sport at UEA. We'd be really keen to have you along. Over to Lizzie.
Sorry, I'm going to go back to the slide with all the clubs on. So, as you've heard plenty of times throughout this talk, there's 57 different sports clubs. And they range from more traditional sports like football, rugby, hockey, or the more niche sports as well. We've got things like, as Hugh said, scuba diving, there's frisbee, there's korfball. Korfball's really popular in Norfolk for some reason. But yeah, so much for you to join. And there's also loads of dance clubs. So if you're somebody who hasn't really got involved with sport before coming to uni, it really doesn't matter, because they take people all the way from beginners. So I'm part of the gymnastics club. If you've never done a roly-poly before or a handstand, it really doesn't matter. We'll teach you how to do that. And that's what the attitude of all the sports clubs we have at UEA are. We want everybody to join our sport. We want to show off how great the sporting community is at UEA. And as I said, community, it is such a great community. I might be biased in my opinion, but I genuinely do think they're one of the best things about UEA. all of my friends that I've gained through UEA and all like the greatest people I've met are all part of the clubs I've been part of, and I'm so thankful that I've met them through them. Just take part of these opportunities. UEA has such a broad range of clubs and societies, and I genuinely cannot express to you how much of a great thing they are to join. Take some time out of your degree, make sure that you're sort of looking after your well-being, and if that's doing things that takes your mind away, things like clubs and societies, meeting other people, just having people you can hang out with, then I really cannot emphasise how important they are to your mental well-being or physical activity at UEA. As I said, yeah, they're all running Do Something Different sessions throughout the week. This also includes sports clubs. So if you want to try out a new sport and you want to see whether you like it, I mean, I joined Frisbee. I can't throw and I can't catch, but I still joined a club because I really like the community and the people who I was playing alongside with. And they were all really welcome. They taught me the sport. Things like Frisbee, like quite a lot of people who come to uni have never done it before, so it really doesn't matter. A lot of them also have social clubs, so if you don't want to be competitive when you join a club, it doesn't matter as well. Like there's social netball, there's social hockey. You don't have to be those really, really competitive, sporty types of people. Just make sure you're looking at them on social media. Lots of sports clubs do have really good Instagram accounts, so if you want to find out more information, just send them a DM. The committees are on the other side and they'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And you can also gain loads of opportunities through being part of sports clubs and societies. So as I imagine not a lot of you are first year. Are there any seconds in the room? Oh, we got one at the back. Well, as lots of you are first year students, you can opt to be your first year rep on committee, which means that you'll basically be the point of contact for first years. Make sure that the first year experience in your club or society is really represented on your committee. And then also throughout the years, so you can be on committees, you can be like president, treasurer, secretary, loads and loads of employability experience you'll get from that. Communication skills, delegating, it's just really, really good things to put on your CV at the end of the day. But yeah, you do one thing that throughout your first few weeks, it's to go to Do Something Different sessions, see what's available to you as a student, because they are genuinely one of the best things about UEA. I'm now going to hand back over to Helena for the final few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're over time, so I think we're done. It's been great to have you all here. I think what's happening in here next is a session for mature students. Is that right? I've got thumbs up from the guys at the back. So if you're not staying for that, go and enjoy the sunshine. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, colleagues.
Right, I think we'll kick off. More people perhaps will arrive throughout the session, so not a problem. So Hi everyone, I'm Jem and I'm the Mature Student Officer employed by the university to help support you basically through your journey. I'm here to help signpost to services and, well, mostly to help keep you in cahoots in terms of social events and stuff on Camp 2. So, on your way in today you should have been given a human bingo card with this QR code on the back. The QR code, if you don't mind just completing some simple details, will enable me to email you a code to claim a free tea or coffee on the Uea app, which I'm looking to do either tomorrow or Monday. So if you wouldn't mind just taking a few moments to do that for me, then I will return you with a nice hot drink so you can carry on networking in your own time. Without further ado, we're going to kick off into the main talk. So, firstly, welcome. It's really lovely to have you here. This is the second session this week that we've run for mature students. So this main talk is going to last about 20 minutes, and then we're going to break into a networking session where we can all have a good game of human bingo and see who wins a hoodie. So we'll come on to that in a few moments. But first, we're going to talk about services and opportunities for you. So, obviously, being students at the university, you are welcome to get involved with as much or as little as you like. Ultimately, the services and opportunities available to students are open to every single person in this room as well. First place we're going to cover is the support service. So I may be repeating information you've already heard today. Apologies if that is the case. But ultimately, we just want to really highlight some of the areas that you may or may not be aware of, just because obviously these are services that are available to you throughout your time as a student. And the support service is one of our biggest divisions at the university. It's split into 3 different areas, the first of which is well-being. And my colleagues are available to help you with a range of different topics. So they have wellbeing advisors who are embedded into each faculty. We have trained talking therapists, who are based within their own team within the support service. So for anyone who may need some help, some counselling, some CBT, there are those options available for you there. They offer workshops and group sessions as well as self-help resources online as well. So there's lots there to keep you and your well-being as good as possible whilst you're studying, because of course you need to look after yourselves. Now, one thing I do like to commend is the Open Up app. It's a free app that you can find on the App Store on both Android and on iPhones. It has a mood tracker and it also highlights some of the services available through the wellbeing to again just keep supporting you in terms of your wellbeing and making sure that you stay healthy throughout your degree. Learning enhancement is the second part of support services that we're going to talk about. Now the learning enhancement team again are there to support you and your learning, so if you're returning from a break in education or like me, just maybe need a little bit of help and support when you overthink things sometimes. I was hideous at referencing when I first joined the university, so this team was invaluable to me in terms of finding some help and support. They offer one-to-one tutorials as well as group study sessions and learning cafes throughout the academic year. But of course you can go on to our website under My Uea and find a bit more out about the team and book in sessions with them. They offer peer-assisted learning. My colleague Janice with the red hair stood outside welcoming you. She is a PAL tutor at the moment. This is a scheme that may be available in your school, but if you want to find out a bit more, please do feel free to ask Janice. She'll be very happy to provide you with some information. There's also English language support as well, so if you are needing some help with that sort of things, there is support available for you there. And like most things, we have a wealth of online resources available for you as well. Now the third and final team that make up the sort of 3 main divisions of the support service is the student life team. Now again, you'll find that student life team members are embedded within each of your faculties and they are there to help you with all aspects of student life alongside myself. They provide support for international students, residential life team for anyone who might be living within residences on the university, And financial advisors and hardship funds are available as well. So for anyone who maybe has any problems financially or hasn't received their student finance yet and is struggling to get into campus, then do speak to the teams. You can find more information out about these guys on the Student Information Zone website. Now, here's a nod to the Careers Central team as well. So many of you may well have ideas about what you want to do after you finish your degree, but if you don't, that's absolutely fine. We do have a fantastic service to support you as and when you want to engage with it. So some people decide to join in on their first year, some people later on down the line. But the Career Service will provide you with dedicated advice, part-time work opportunities, including student worker opportunities as well. So again, very worth having a look at. They run regular careers fairs and events. They give support for those of you who might be considering doing a year in industry as part of your degree, and access to the Uea Award. I'm going to point at Adi, who's sat there with his arms up in the air at the moment, who has just recently completed his Gold Uea Award, and provide more information from a student perspective as to what that has been like and what opportunities that has opened up. But again, the Uea Award is a completely free thing that you can take part in. You can bring your previous work experience into and take out an accolade and some support to help you drive forward your career after you've finished. And finally, as I've already mentioned, work opportunities through Careers Central as well are pretty varied as well. So as you can see, I've got lots of lovely student ambassadors at the back of the room who are going to be helping me network with you after we've finished the talk. And these guys are employed by the university. We're always looking for more student workers, so please do keep an eye on the Careers Central pages. And then obviously we've got the Students' Union. So you've probably already found out a bit about the Students' Union already if you've been on campus this week. They are the union providing support and advocacy for students. So the Student Union is run by students for students. And as a student, you are automatically enrolled as a member of the union. They provide training opportunities, they provide clubs and societies and lots of socialising and networking events for you. So I work very closely with colleagues from the Students' Union to host as many events throughout the academic year as we possibly can, and we'll come on to that more shortly. But the main thing I really wanted to point out on this screen was the Buddy SU. If you haven't already signed up to have a buddy, it's a good thing to do in your first year, because if you're new to the university, new to the area, then it's a nice way of finding other people who are in the same age bracket as you, in the same course as you, or have the same interest in you to help find your feet, maybe go on to some events or clubs and societies, networking sessions, and again, just help you ease into student life. But I wanted really to talk to you about social opportunities, because this is sort of the area that I think a lot of people like to think about or sort of, want to know a bit more about. Now, obviously, the social opportunities available to you are completely optional. You don't have to take part in anything unless you want to. But obviously, you are very, very welcome to join in. So this week, yesterday we were in the Welcome Zone, which is the small dome next to this big old tent, and we're going to be there next Wednesday as well. AD myself will be there, as well as another chap called Martin, to provide you help, information and guidance, even if it's, where can I find this building? sort of questions. So do let us know if you need any help. Tomorrow in the Hive, which is located in the Student Union building, near the coffee shop, we are hosting between 10 a.m. and 12 coffee and cake, which is free, and the cake is absolutely gorgeous. So I really suggest if you're around, come and join in. If not, that's not a problem. This evening we're hosting a virtual quiz as well from 7:30 until 9 p.m. on Zoom, the tickets for which you can find on the Student Union pages. For the coffee and cake and for the drop-in zone, you can just come along as you want to. No need to book tickets. And then finally, for anyone who may have family members or children that they would like to get involved with the university, you're very welcome to bring them into this dome on Saturday between 10 and 2 to meet other like-minded people and to just show your children what is available on campus and what you're doing here, essentially. You can find more information out about the sessions and more what's available throughout the year on my UEA pages under Being a New Student. Beyond Welcome Week, we'll be offering a virtual happy hour on the first Friday of every month. This usually is between 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sometimes can run on a little bit later than that, but ultimately there's no obligation to stay or attend if you don't want to. But it's just a really nice way of people being able to meet up outside of university times, especially if you've got other commitments outside of the university. For those of you who commute to university, we will be holding regular commuters' breakfast, the first one of which is going to be next Thursday and Friday up in Scholars Kitchen. This will be between 8:30 and 11 a.m. and again is a drop-in session, so you're very welcome to just drop by, grab a bit of toast and a coffee and just have a chat with us. It'd be really nice to see you. This year we're celebrating World Access to Higher Education Day. Further details on this will follow, but this is a date for your diary. On Wednesday, the 17th of November, is a day we're going to be celebrating everyone's various journeys into higher education. There will be more information to follow, which will come out through the main university channels, so keep an eye out for that, because it'll be, again, fantastic to have you involved with that. And then, obviously, at the end of each term, we like to celebrate our successes. So we want to hold an Easter and Christmas event where, again, we're hoping to have a strand for those with parent care and responsibilities, and again, just be able to get you together to network, celebrate, and enjoy. If you want to find out a bit more about our events, we do share quite a lot of our details on the UEA Mature Student Facebook page. If you haven't already joined, you're very welcome to join if you're on Facebook. But if you don't use Facebook, there is a lot of information on the My UEA pages and the University Student Union event pages as well. But if you get super stuck, my email address will be at the end of this presentation. You're very welcome to contact me. Has anyone been to Scholars Bar yet? Yeah? Yeah? No? Okay. Okay, so Scholars Bar, if you've been into the Union building, there is a set of stairs, and as you go up the stairs, Scholars Bar is right in front of you. Scholars Bar is purely for postgraduate and mature students. It's a beautiful area, it's a really nice bar, and ultimately can only be accessed with a key card, so your student ID, essentially. If you're an undergraduate student, you will need to request access to the Scholars Bar from Sarah Claxton, who is the bar manager. Now, Sarah can be contacted on s.claxton@uea.ac.uk, and you can find this information available online as well on the mature student pages. Now, you will need to send her through your username, and your UEA username is the one that is 3 letters, 2 numbers, and then 3 letters again. Once you've provided that information to Sarah, she will add your access to Scholars Bar, and you should be able to access the bar shortly after that. At the moment, it's open between 12 and 5, but we're hoping those hours will extend the more it's used. So please do feel free to request the access and get yourself set up. We were really excited last year to introduce mature student hoodies as well, because obviously there were a few people that we were talking to who were concerned about being mistaken for academics or worried about being the eldest in their class or whatever. So ultimately, mature student hoodies was a nice way of sort of branding this. And these are available through Birds of Dereham, which are online providers. So if you Googled the words UEA Mature Student Hoodie, this will be at the very top of your listings. Now, the overhead jumpers are £20. They come in a range of colours. You can have your initials on them, your school of study, or the zip-up hoodies. Same options apply, but they're slightly more expensive at £22.50. Now, just bear these in mind, because this is our first prize today of the Back of Human Bingo. So obviously, if you would like one of these, then get involved. Now, we know not all mature students are commuting students, but it tends to be quite an overlapping demographic. So again, we do quite a lot to support people in terms of commuting as well, so people don't live on campus in their first year. We have produced these free commuter badges that I'm wearing at the moment, and the students at the back are holding up as well, because we do have some available if you have yet to pick one up and are a commuting student. Now, we've also got free travel planners. I've got some of those available with me today if you wanted one, but they're also available to pick up from various locations on campus, including the student information zone, the registry reception, the lodge, and union help desk. I'm surprised I remembered all that. You can also download the travel planner from the My Uea pages too. And obviously, like with the mature student side of things, we do regular events for the commuting students as well, as you would have seen from the breakfasts. So do come along and have your say. Just feedback, let us know how you're getting on. If you'll use Park and Ride this week, you likely would have seen Charlie at the back there and Isla and other students who have been meeting and greeting people using the Cossey Park and Ride. Now, I've already kind of alluded to, there's a lot of information that we've populated online to help you settle in, find your way around and know what's available to you. So on My Uea, under Divisions and Services, Admissions, Recruitment and Marketing, and Recruitment and Outreach, there's a lot of steps there, I'm afraid. There is some specific information for mature students, for those with parenting or caring responsibilities, for students who may be estranged or care experience. There is also some information on there for commuting students, including information about transport too. So do have a look at those, and if you get stuck again, you're very welcome to contact me and I will signpost you as required. On the student union pages, under the drop-down Your Communities, there is also information available for commuting students, amateur students, that has been put together by some of our current students. These pages are there to help you figure out some of the acronyms, how to navigate yourself around some of the floor number of cisterns in some of our buildings, and also into the commuting side of things, learn where to locate things like lockers and where to pick up free hot water for your cups of tea and coffee, for example. Now, here's a familiar face. Sadie has joined us here today as a student worker and is very happy to talk to you about the peer support group. Now, at UEA, we don't have a specific society for mature students. It's a peer support group instead, which is free on the point of entry and is, again, completely optional for you to join if you're interested. The peer support group is there to act, as the name suggests, as a peer support network to help you raise any concerns, chat with other students, and essentially find out a bit more about the help available to you. Now, I appreciate this can be quite difficult to read on the screen with the lighting, so I'm going to just read from what Adi put. So Eddie says, I came to UEA after leaving school at 15 and working for over 30 years. As well as a mature student, I'm the first in my family to reach university. I'm a parent and a commuter, so there is a good chance I will understand your way of life. My aim is to make the mature students' time as inclusive and as fun for as many of you as possible. The inaugural Mature Student Peer Support Group ensures our voice is heard by the Students' Union and the university and concerns are identified and addressed. I have lived in Norwich all my life, always happy to chat and help fellow students in whatever way I can. You will usually see me about campus wearing my yellow and green Norwich City scarf and regularly behind a pint of beer in the Scholars Bar. It's not a scarf day today though, is it? So, no. But AD is there. If you have any questions about the peer support group, please do go and have a chat with AD. It's pretty easy to sign up. If you wanted to, you can find the information under the Student Union website and opportunities, societies, and that's the information on the peer support group there. It's links to the Facebook page as well, so a lot of our updates go on there too. Now, unfortunately, Hannah can't join us today, but Hannah Lambert is your mature student officer from the SU. So she is one of our students who is here to represent you and work alongside myself and the students union to ensure that you're represented, you're supported, and your voices are heard. Hannah is in a third year studying education. After 4 years out of education, working in different schools and other educational settings. Although only 22 when I started, I'm a mature student, so I understand all the challenges that come along with it. During my time as your mature student officer, I'm hoping to organise a broader variety of events for mature students, begin to increase the support available for new and existing mature students, and above all, make sure all of our wonderful UEA matures have the best possible time during their studies. I'm Norwich born and raised and will be on campus a lot this year. I'm always up for a chat or a get-together and hope to get to know you lots over the next year. Now, one thing I know that Hannah's really interested in doing this year, and something that I failed to mention on the commuter slide before, is reinvoking our Commuter Society. Over the last 2 years, obviously travel hasn't been at the forefront of our minds as we've all been locked down at home. So our Commuter Society have mostly graduated and left their courses, which leaves, I think, is it just you, on the committee? Yeah. So we're looking at creating a peer support network for the commuters as well, making it free at point of entry. We are very interested in having more people involved in the Commuter Society because, of course, the more voices we have involved, the better. So do let us know if you're interested in getting involved. Now, next we're going to go into the human bingo. So normally I'll do this in faculty groups, but I think we had the majority of people come to the Tuesday session, so we're going to do it as a big collective to ensure that at least we can have 2 or 3 winners. So I'm going to say the first 3 people to complete their human bingo card will be winners. Now, we have this space until 1:30, but it can get quite warm in here, so do feel free to take the networking outside if you want some fresh air. But by all means, chat to each other, complete your human bingo card, and let us know when you have finished it. When you have finished it, can you please write your name and school at the top and come and find me to give me your piece of paper so I can contact you to find out your size and colour preference for your mature student hoodie. Let's go.
Well, I think... Hello, testing, testing. Yes, we're on. Yeah.
If you introduce me, then I'll go and sit down, and then I can come back up when you've done.
Okay. Do you want to be Denise Mountain or just Denise?
Just Denise.
Yeah.
I don't think they're on the names.
Okay, so I think some of you are here from the last session, but do stay for this. So I'm Grant from the library, and I'm here with Denise from Learning Enhancement, and we're going to talk these two really quite useful services, in fact, essential services, I would say, at UEA. So I hope I'm not about to clear out the space. You can stay and talk if you want to, but if you're interested in the library or in the services that Learning Enhancement have to offer, then do prep your ears. So we're going to give just very, very brief intros, give you a few key kind of starting points for our service and kind of overview, and then leave plenty of time for questions. And we're going to linger afterwards as well if you want to just grab us individually. I don't have slides with words. You've just got me talking. Are you having a good week? Is it going well? Well done for coming here on such a nice sunny day when there's so much going on outside. We think the library and Learning Enhancement are both really key services for you throughout the whole of your UEA journey. And I hope you all agree. I mean, these are essential services. The library. Who's been to the library yet? Anyone? Who's found some books relevant to your studies? No? Maybe that's why you're here. Who's? Okay. Well, yeah. There's some demystification going on here now, and we can have a chat. Don't be daunted by it. So there's a big building with nice places to study, nice views, with a certain amount of books and things to look at. I would say don't by any means think that that's it in terms of the library. There are 800,000 volumes on those shelves, but that's actually a fraction of the resources that we're making available. I think if you want to think the information space, the resources that we're providing, it's probably 10 times the amount that you see in the building there. So when I was first doing university studies back in a long time ago, my library was a building with books, and it was very clearly defined. For you, it's largely digital. It's vast. And so that's exciting because there's so much more available to you, but it can also be a bit daunting and a bit complicated. And we're here to help you with that. And I'm going to give you a few kind of starting points there just to kind of get you oriented. So the building itself, it's open 24/7. So if you want to, you can rock up there in the middle of the night, Christmas Day if you want to, and work. There's a help desk there that operates in normal working hours, but through the weekend as well. And if you go on the library website, more in a moment, then there's live chat there as well. There are kind of emails. There's a phone number. So there's plenty of ways, and there's a desk in the library, alongside careers. So if you're interested in career development, then go into the library and talk to careers folk as well. So you can get help either in the library or online. And I would say probably your main entry point to the library is not so much through the doors, although I would encourage you in, but through the library website. So I don't know whether any of you found your way to the library website yet. If you do what I do and just sort of Google UEA library, you'll get to the wrong website because there are two. There's a kind of internal website which has a lot more resources than the public-facing website. You can Google UEA library and there's a clear link, students and staff sign in here. If you do that, make sure you just go straight there. because there is so much more available on the portal version of the library website. If you've found your way to the UEA, my.uea portal, there you should have a tile in that kind of dashboard, Explore the Library. That will get you in as well. If you're onto Blackboard, there are links from Blackboard there as well. So just make sure you're looking at the right website. It's the one with a big search box on the top. If you are using that search box, it kind of looks like Google, but it's not. Doesn't operate like Google. Google's very forgiving. You know, you can type in whole sentences and it will give you stuff. That's just simply doing kind of keyword matching. So think carefully about what you type into that box. Think carefully about what filters you can use to kind of narrow down big searches. Think about those words. I think many of you will have sessions with librarians like me coming up. There are some scheduled throughout this first semester where we'll go into more detail about how best to use that search. But as newcomers, there are a couple of other places on that website that I would, and I don't wish I had a visualization, I don't, but that I would send you. There's a big box saying new students, go here, and there's videos and there's lots of help there. And there's another big box saying subject guides. So librarians like me, and I support the arts and humanities, but there's a whole team of 9 of us who support the different schools within UEA, have put together some curated guides for the different subjects that you're doing, which highlight key resources, which give you information about drop-ins and tailored support for you in your subject. So go to the website, do a search, see what you can find, go and wander on the shelves and see what's there. But also look at the information for new students, look at the subject guides particularly, because those will give you a good orientation. Now the library is trying to be responsive and is always changing. And one campaign we've launched this year is our Decolonizing the Uea Library campaign. So one thing we're really doing is trying to kind of broaden the courses that we offer and engage students in telling us where they think we're lacking in some resources and trying to create a more diverse and more interesting set of resources for you. I think I haven't been keeping an eye on the time. I've probably already strayed into Denise's Denise's time, just making sure I've covered everything. Yeah, so the other thing that should look out for, it's on the library website, there's notices in the library, is something called Lean Library. It's a little plug-in that you can get for your browser. So look out for those words, Lean Library, download it, install it. What this does is, if you stumble across a kind of paywall, a pay-for site, maybe you're going through Google or Google Scholar and you get to something that says you need to pay money, you need to sign in. This will check whether we have access and it will prompt you to get access. Because the experience you have, which I didn't have when I was a student, is you do a search and we will send you to more than 100 different platforms, sites, all with different kind of logins and different ways of getting to resources. It can be a bumpy ride. Now if you're going in through the search, if you're going in through the subject guide, hopefully that's fairly smooth. But get this plug-in and that will just make it easier. And if you're just following links and you get to somewhere where you're asked to sign in, this will really help. So just to recap those, there are kind of 4 things that I think it would be good to do. Go and explore the library, find a nice space to study. There's a coffee bar there. You can buy coffee if you need a fix. Explore the library website. Look particularly at the subject guides, and download this little plugin because that will make things a bit smoother. So over to Denise, and we'll both be around at the end to pick up any questions that you might have, either while we're up here or just while we're down on the floor. Okay, so yeah, welcome and enjoy your stay.
So good afternoon, everyone. I am from the Learning Enhancement team. You guys will probably know us as LET. We use the acronyms a lot, and so you'll hear the name being bandied around. that is the Learning Enhancement team. We do have a little crossover between the library and ourselves, which is why we're doing the talk together. We'll very often refer students who are researching to the library, and we work with some of the library liaison staff in faculty as well, and so there is a little crossover. But right now I'm here to tell you about some of the things that we do in LET to help you grow as students and develop and get the most out of your study experience. And so these are some of the things that we offer. We have many resources available, and you can access these online. You will find them on the LET website, and so just do a search in My UEA for LET, and it will take you into all of our study resources. We also run workshops and help desks. The workshops, these might be online, or they might be face-to-face. Some of them might have a specific pick. Some of them may be more general for everybody at the university. Some of them may be in faculty with your, working with your faculty lecturers, or they could be generic, something that everyone will benefit. And we have help desks, which are drop-in sites where you come along with a quick question and ask us anything, absolutely anything, to do with your study process. I'll tell you more about these later on, give you more specific details. We also have one-to-one tutorials that take place throughout the whole semester. They are very competitive, and so you would need to think in advance of when you might want one, and book at least a couple of weeks in advance. They do become very popular later in the semester as assignments become due. And so most of these are split into two kinds of themes. The first theme is the academic writing, anything to do with academic study, and then the other is to do with maths and statistics, and so two quite different areas here. We have tutors specializing in both of those areas to help you. We also have tutors for students with specific learning differences, and here there is a dedicated tutor who can help with the process of assessment. And then we have a group who would be able to work with you with your specialist needs. So anything that would be done in that respect will be done with the SPLD team. We are also associated with the English Language Support Program, and this is for students whose for whom English is not their first language, it's an additional language. And it's to help build the language skills that are going to be needed to navigate through uni. And we recognize very much how important it is for students to be working with other students, sharing their knowledge, sharing their experience. And so we have some tutors who are working on the Peer Assisted Learning Program, PAL, another wonderful acronym. So you will hear PAL being used quite often. This is where you may be given an opportunity to work in small groups with other students from your own schools who have already done the first year of study, and they may be there to support you in your learning and pass on some of the knowledge that they gained about that particular faculty. There's also one-to-one mentoring available for postgraduates as well as undergraduates. And these are usually by faculty again, and so this is knowledge coming from people who've done the same thing as you already and have survived and are progressing, and so we have contact details for these that we can give you later on. And so you can see there are many different ways that we might be able to support you through LET. Of course, I've mentioned already the Maths and Stats team. They will help you through numerous things, including numeracy, algebra, calculus, statistics, all of this kind of stuff. There is the writing team and the staff who can help with anything to do with your study whatsoever, from the absolute beginning of the writing process all the way through until you're submitting after proofreading. We can look at the language that you use, not just English as an additional language, the academic language that you need writing at university, as well as all the many, many structures of different kinds of assessment that you're going to be facing and referencing, the bane of many people's lives, something that we can certainly help you with. You may be thinking, yep, I know this already, yep, I've done this, I'm here, and you are, like being here, you're already a successful student. But one of the things about university is you may be very familiar with a particular way of writing. This is something that has provided you with success in the past, but there may be differences at university to the expectations for certain assessments. And that's where we can help you. We can help you in this transition into university to get used to some of the differences and some of the expectations from faculties and schools. Also, we can help you with any kinds of presentations, speaking assessments, written assessments, pretty much anything, including the exams that you'll take at the end of terms. And one of the things that we do work with is the feedback that students receive from lecturers, helping them to understand what it is that these comments mean and how they can actually take them and use them to improve their work. And so something that we often see students come with. Okay, and so many, many things. So you might be sitting there thinking, okay, definitely something I can do with, definitely something I need to look into. This is a very personal thing. For everyone, it's really different. And so thinking about where you might come and speak to for some advice, perhaps. One of the key things here is being at university, there are challenges. Of course there are challenges, and very often they're around things like motivating yourself because you're so much freedom of time. And so things like managing your time, organizing your study, and just motivating yourself to get this work done, and coping with independent learning. So when we say independent learning, it doesn't mean that you have to be there on your own, struggling through all of this. So please, any questions, there's no silly question. So just come with any questions, come to a drop-in, ask a quick question, and then if necessary, we can take you on to the next steps of the process. So lots of ways that we might be able to help. So this semester, we are looking at running study cafes for academic English, academic writing, academic speaking, all things study related. And these will take place in the Student Union building on Wednesdays from 2 until 4 o'clock. There will be tea and biscuits. And so if you come along, there may be a theme for the day, or you can just come along and ask general questions. Any question, or you can take part in what's happening on the particular day. And so at the same time, there are also help desks that are being run by the maths and stats people. And so the maths workshops help desks are first at the same time as ours. You might hop from ours to theirs or vice versa. And then the statistics workshops also Wednesday afternoon from 4 to 5. So lots happening on Wednesday afternoons. We also have for postgraduate students, we have writing retreats. These are full-day workshops where you just get to focus and do some actual writing. And most people find them to be a really, really productive time where they can dedicate that day to writing and share the experience with other people, which is really well. And as I mentioned, we have one-to-one tutorials, incredibly popular. Okay, and so again, be thinking in advance if it's something that you would be interested in. And so all of these services you can find out about by going into my UEA and searching for LET. Okay, and so other contact details. Learning Enhancement, okay, this is the LET link. Our email, okay, so if you want to book appointments or just ask a question to begin with, you can go to ask.let@uea.ac.uk. If you have a specific learning difference and you would like more information about the assessment process, or you would like to book an appointment if you already have a DSA, then spld@uea.ac.uk. Okay, and then all of our social media, our handle, new handle, interesting, UEA Learn. So if you are wanting to check us out on social media, at UEA Learn. Okay, so that is it from us, from Grant and myself. If there are any questions, we can answer them now, or we can hang around and just chill.
So just to say the library's social as well, so UEA Library, you'll find us on Twitter and Facebook. So, so how's it all go? Information overload yet?
Yeah.
But it's a day 4, is it? Yeah.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, guys. Okay, see you.
But if you do want to come forward as well and join us, there's some very comfy beanbags at the front. So we've got a nice little group together. Of course, if you decide in 10 minutes want to go, that's absolutely fine too. I think they look pretty comfy. Nice. Cool. So today's session this afternoon is going to be on how to support a friend with their mental health. So my name's Rach, I'm one of the wellbeing trainers here at the UEA, and the other person delivering alongside me is Rich, who's just over there. So our role at the UEA is about running workshops and generally raising awareness around mental health and wellbeing. So hopefully you will have already seen us around with the wellbeing wall, but you'll see us around throughout the year as well. So when we talk about how to support a friend, in the context here at the UEA, a friend is not necessarily someone who's like our most trusted person. A friend could be someone on your course, it might be someone who you're living with, it could be someone in your society. So when we think about friend, try and think about it like the whole UEA community. It's a nice way to kind of think about it. And just as we kick off, we'll sort of think about what we mean when we say mental health. So it's basically how we think, feel and act and how we relate to others. Think about mental health as being a continuum, and it's something that we're all on. We all have mental health and we move about throughout our lives at different points rather than thinking about this situation of like this just well or just ill. It's something that's always moving. So that's the kind of context we're using it in today. So thinking about the key skills we can use when it's helping someone with their mental health. The first one I want to think about is noticing, okay? So when we talk about noticing, is there a change in someone's behaviour? Is there something happening that might be a little bit different or doesn't quite sit right with you? What's a really good thing to do is actually just ask that person and say, are you all right? What's going on? Think about people and behaviour like an iceberg. So the behaviour we see in someone is the very tip of the iceberg, and underneath, as we know, we have this huge amount of area that we can't see. So it's really good when we're noticing something to not assume. So we might see someone by themselves and think there's something wrong, but actually for that person it might be, actually I'm okay and I'm just having some time to myself. So if we can just notice that and ask that question, it's just showing we care. And next up is listen, which is a really important one. So maybe I can ask you all, how do you know if someone's listening to you? Eye contact, really nice one. Anything else? Yeah. So I guess the fancy word, someone said adding to conversation. So paraphrasing. So it might be if someone's saying something to you, saying something back. Yeah, bouncing back. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? Any other ideas? If you've ever been listened to, how did you know? Yeah, body language is a really good one. So actually, if they're sitting, can you sit? If they're standing, can you stand? A lot of times people talk about listening, they talk about eye contact, which I think is a really interesting one, because actually if we look at someone, yeah, we know they're listening, but for some people eye contact can be actually incredibly anxiety inducing. So I like to say appropriate eye contact, and you can tell very, very quickly if someone wants to make eye contact with you or not. So the thing with listening is, if any of you have ever helped support someone with mental health, actually listening is just being there for that person. Sometimes if someone is in distress with us, we feel like we need to have the answers and we need to help make someone feel better. But I don't know about for any of you, if you have ever felt overwhelmed, the power of just having someone there to listen to you and just validate how you're feeling. You don't really want that person to solve those problems. So actually just being there, that listening ear, again, it's just saying like, I'm here and I care. It's not, I'm going to solve all your problems for you. And checking in, this is another really important one. So actually in that moment, someone might not want to talk, and that's totally fine. But by checking in, again, it's just that reminder of I'm here, I care. And it's really good when we're checking in with someone to ask twice, because quite often, if we ask how someone is, they just say, I'm fine. Asking someone again gives that opportunity for someone to firstly reflect and actually go, am I okay? And it really opens up that conversation to be like, oh no, this person really cares how I am. They're not just saying hi as well. And then across all three of those, we have look after yourself. This is the absolute number one most important thing when it comes to looking after someone else. Their mental health is actually managing your own. I'm not going to talk about that too much right now because Rich is going to do a little bit more on that in a bit. But the analogy I like to use is when you're on a plane. If there's a drop in cabin pressure, the air masks come down, and they always say put yours on first before you help someone else. And that is a nice way to think about when we support other people as well. If we're not looking after ourselves, we don't have enough in us to then support someone else. But as I said, I won't do too much about that now because Rich will be talking about it. Right, so what I'd like you to do now, we're kind of naturally kind of in two groups maybe, but unless you want to all talk together, that's fine too. I want you to think about this scenario. So you notice someone on your course is very quiet and withdrawn. So what I'd like you to do is just think about and chat around those questions underneath. So what do you think might be going on for the person? How do you think they might be feeling? And how do you think you could support them? Okay, so they're just starter questions. If you kind of go off a little bit on a tangent, that's fine too. Me and Rich will come over and have a little chat as well. And it'd be great to kind of hear what your thoughts are around that. Any questions about that before we go? Cool, thank you.
But then
I'm back in the mic now, which feels a bit strange when everyone's so close as well. But I'm speaking to the room, it's fine. So I was just out over here with some really nice conversations around this question, and it sounds like over here it was too. A key thing really is there is not one way. There's not that. It is about that kindness and consideration. But some top tips around it is about being supportive and non-judgmental and being there to listen to that person, really thinking about, sort of their needs, what works for them. Being patient as well in that moment. We sort of spoke about it over there that actually someone might not want to talk in that moment, but actually just that kind of reminder, that check-in. It's like, okay, you might not want to talk right now, and that's okay, and I'm here when you do want to. And doing some small things actually are things that can really make the big difference. So it might be, depending on the context of how you know them, might be making a cup of tea, or even going for a tea, going for a walk, inviting someone out to go to the cinema. Those sort of nice positive activities I think can be really helpful in those moments. It's giving someone that little extra boost. And then just to kind of finish up these bits is around understanding the boundaries as well. When we're supporting other people, especially someone who really likes to help other people, we can take an awful lot on for ourselves and think that maybe our role is to kind of fix someone or make them better. Really important to actually go, what are the boundaries in terms of what I can do? And actually, if it's beyond what you think you can do to help someone, that's okay to say, actually, I'm not comfortable to have this conversation, but I really think it'd be great, and signpost them on to talk to someone else. And also around those boundaries, it might be you yourself. If you're not having a great time, you might not have as much to give that day as well. So it's always fine to put a pause in it and be like, do you know what, actually, right at this moment, I'm not going to be the best person to talk to you. Either again, signpost, or just say, actually, can we talk later or tomorrow? So it's not shutting that person down completely, but it is kind of putting a little pause in as well. And that kind of brings into around the signposting to other support. It's okay to be like, look, student services are there, this is support they can give. It might be that actually for you yourself it's had that sort of negative impact, and that's okay to reach out for support for yourself, or even to get in touch with student services to express you do have concern about someone, and is there anything, because what that does is puts that ownership onto UEA, and it puts ownership onto student services to make that decision about what's the best thing to do for that person, rather than holding that in going, oh gosh, I'm responsible for this other human being fully. So I think that's that first bit. So I am going to hand you over to Rich, who is going to talk about self-care.
Thank you so much. Absolutely, that brings us on quite nicely really to, from what you were saying there about, setting those boundaries and just making sure that you're looking after yourself first of all too. So I'm going to talk a little bit about self-care and why that's really important. So although we're kind of talking about looking after each other and looking out each other, still looking after ourselves is really, really important within that. Self-care is, I feel like I sort of spoken about this week. You might have seen this about with our well-being. We're asking for you to share some of your ideas of things you do to look after yourselves. But actually, that's a really, really important step in looking out for each other as well. And it's so important for our own well-being. And like Rach said, in terms of that aeroplane kind of metaphor, we can't look out for other people if we're not looking out for ourselves first of all. So that's so, so, so important. And in terms of self-care and looking after ourselves and having that deliberate investment of, time, effort into activities that are good for us, both for our mental and our physical health, when we're not feeling at our best, when, we're getting busy or we're getting stressed or, we're feeling a little bit low, that's normally the first thing to go. So as soon as we're not feeling too great today, maybe I'm not investing in that same kind of self-care time, that's going to have a negative effect on me as well and going to make me feel worse in turn. So it's almost like that vicious cycle. Then, you don't really have that space or that availability to then go and help the people around you too. So like I said, in terms of self-care, in terms of helping other people, it's, it can be really rewarding to kind of look out for other people and to care for the people around you and look out for your mates. But that can also have a really negative impact on us, a bit like what Ray said. So it's about being aware of that yourself and just being like, okay, is this, have I got space for this? Is it the right time to be having this conversation? Is this more than I'm able to help with at the moment. And if that is too much, it's fine to go, oh, I'm not sure I'm the right person, or I'm not sure I do it. It's absolutely fine to have that conversation. You know, because, you know, looking after ourselves first of all is paramount. Another thing that I like to think about when I talk self-care is kind of role modelling self-care too, you know, and that again can work for in your friendship groups, you know, with the people you live with, even within your families, like almost leading by example. And it doesn't have to be like in a preachy way, like, oh, I'm doing this, so you've got to come and do it too. But just, you know, just taking the time to take care of yourself properly, and whatever that is, whatever that self-care looks like, it's fine. But role modelling and actually making sure you're investing that time and going, yeah, I'm going to set some time aside for myself. I'm going to invest this time and effort in me, and the positive effects that that's going to have, that's going to really rub off on the people around you, and that can have that kind of ripple effect in terms of, oh, okay, I'm seeing that over there, oh, they're doing that, oh, okay, maybe I'll try that, or maybe I'll do, oh, actually, I don't like that, maybe I'll try something similar. Yeah, maybe I should spend, you know, a bit of time tonight, just a bit of me time. So I think that's really, really important. You know, again, without, we don't have to open it up too much because it's just a very small group, but, you know, I wanted to have a quick think about some of the things you do in terms of looking after yourself. So, yeah, just 1 minute, kind of share some ideas with each other. What are some of the things you do, like if you've got a bit of time to yourself, or, you know, if you're not feeling at your best, what are those things where it's like, okay, I've got a bit of time for me, what are the kind of things that you do? Have a quick chat about it. It's scary, isn't it? What? What did you come up with, guys? The shower? Yeah, absolutely. Just not clear your head. Yeah, absolutely, love it. What else do we have? Yeah, nice. Being active, listening to the podcast, taking a bit of time. Just nice. Good. What else do we have?
Something like low stimulus.
Yeah.
Very much sort of like not doing much, kind of sitting there, laying there, just with yourself.
Yeah, nice. I like it. We kind of had some similar ones down here in terms of just having a rest, having, you know, going to sleep. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, so many people said that this week when they kind of wrote on the wall. They're like, oh, what would I do if I had now? Oh, I'd probably go to sleep, but that's not really self-care. Of course it is. You know, for me, like when we're talking about self-care, it's not about, you know, those kind of cliche things that, you know, are the first things that come to mind. It's about whatever works for you. So whether it's being active, whether it's having a rest, whether it's getting in the shower, whether it's, you know, listening to music or podcast, whether it's actually just spending a bit of quiet time, those things are just as valid as each other. And, you know, you might think, oh, actually, maybe that doesn't work for me, or maybe that works for me, or oh, I like that idea. It's all about finding out what works for you. And I think, you know, particularly now is the perfect time to do that. It's kind of try different stuff and see what works, because there's so much opportunity, particularly, you know, this week and at this time of the year. There's so much stuff you can do. It's just about trying new stuff and finding out what works. So there's no right or wrong. There's no, you know, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. It's all about finding out what works for you, how much, how often, what kind of activities. So yeah, it's just about experimenting and finding what works for you. But again, that kind of brings it back to that self-awareness in terms of, is this having a positive effect on me? And if it's not, that's all right. We all get things wrong. We might try something that's like, oh, actually, I thought this was going to be really relaxing, but oh, maybe this isn't, you know, the best use of my time, or maybe I prefer doing something else. And that's all right. It's just about being kind to ourselves and allowing us that base to try different stuff and experiment with it. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong, and that's all right. But yeah, the real point I want to emphasize there is that looking after ourselves is the best action that we can take to be able to support the people around us. So please don't forget that. And then the final thing really that I want to talk about is just thank you so much to you guys for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and listen to this afternoon and engaging. It's really nice to have those conversations. If you want to kind of get involved with any more of the workshops, me and Rach are going to be delivering workshops across the year. We've got our introduction to mental health and wellbeing at university sessions for all first years that we're going to be running over the next couple of months, but we've got lots of other workshops coming up, things like wellness action planning, our full helping a friend with their mental health workshop, managing change, and lots more. So if there's any more that you're kind of interested in getting involved in, and it doesn't have to be straight away, it might be at different points in the year, or as you go on you might think, oh actually I could do a bit of help with this, so I could do with doing this proactively. You can all check out the website and you'll see all of the dates that are available. Also, you can follow us on socials. We will be kind of doing daily updates with some top tips, some resources, some help, some self-help stuff, and much more that we'll be posting daily. We've also got kind of little videos to kind of add to your kind of wellbeing toolbox that we're putting weekly on our YouTube channel that we've just relaunched, and we've even got a monthly podcast where this month we're talking all about change and transition, so really important for this time of year and how to deal with sometimes what can be quite an overwhelming time. So you're more than welcome to check out any of those things, and other than that, that is everything, I think. So if you've got, if you want to have a chat with us about anything that we've spoken about or anything related to student services or wellbeing more widely, you're more than welcome to. We'll be hanging about for a little bit. We've also got Betty, one of our wellbeing advisors, outside in the mini dome, so you're more than welcome to have a chat with her to see more about how wellbeing or student services works. But again, thank you all so much. Thank you, guys.